everybody. Just making sure everything's working. Give me just a minute. Great. It is not coming up. Hold on just a sec. I want to make sure that you guys can hear me and everything. Okay, looks like we're on. Hi, Elaine. Hi, Jamie. No Zoom link stuff. On Tuesdays, we just do Facebook. That's why you can't find one, because there isn't one. Can't quite hear me. Can you hear me better now? I'll try to put this closer to me. Hi, Peggy. Here, you guys. I'm going to turn on my sound just so I can see here. So okay, sounds like you can hear now. You're not an idiot. I love you. And I love your cool Air Force pattern you're doing too, Stephanie. Oh, good, Karen. Where are you at? I know I ask you that all the time. You said it's beautiful there, but where at? Okay, you guys. So this is my idea. Since I send buttons to you guys in all of your packages and in the boxes, and I have people ask me all the time, what do I do with all of these buttons? Well, of course, you can use them for the regular things that you use buttons for, to close things up with. But Sally and I were talking about it this morning, and she actually said something about, I got to figure out what to do with all these buttons. And I said, wouldn't it be fun to make a sampler? So we're going to do something that's sort of like a stitchery sampler, only we're going to do it with quilt blocks. And, oh, that's so cool, Steph. With quilt blocks and stitchery, and but each time I'm going to make a block or a part of the quilt, and you can either do the version where you use your machine to sew it, or you can do the version, here's my hands, you can do the version where you use your machine to sew it, or you can do a version where you use your hands. So I'm going to give you those two options each time. So the blocks will be the same size, but some will be for handwork and some will be for machine work. Not everyone will have a hand option, but everyone will have a machine option. So for those of you who don't do handwork, we have a few of you. So you can join in. And let me show you, this is just a representation. I just really quickly did a quick design today. So this is not exactly what it's going to look like. These are not even possibly the blocks we're going to make. It's just an idea kind of how it's going to go. You've been hoarding your buttons. So this is kind of an idea. Now, these are just blank because I didn't take the time to design all the blocks or anything. And obviously, this isn't necessarily going to be the flowers we have, anything like that. As a matter of fact, I've got a different flower even tonight than what I have on here. This was just to give you an idea of it's going to be pieces, all different sizes. The blocks are possibly going to be pieced, or they could be paper pieced, or they could be English paper pieced. If you like to do handwork. So there's just going to be lots of different kinds of blocks, lots of different sizes of blocks. And there's going to be a machine option for every block. And there's also going to be hand option for a few of the blocks, or quite a few of the blocks. Because I'm really into hand piecing right now for some reason. I don't know why. It's kind of a strange thing. And I'm also really trying to learn to embroider better. And so I want to do a little embroidery on mine. But you don't have to. You can just do it by machine. You can just do it by hand piecing. You can do whatever you want. But those are the options that I'm going to give you for this. So this is what we're going to be working on the next few Tuesdays. It's really hard for me to come up with designs all the time, you guys. So every Tuesday I come up with a new design, but it's not easy, you know, it takes some thought. So this is a great jumping off spot for me, and it's going to be super fun. So I think anyway, to design this for you anyway, and I'm hoping that you guys have fun making it. So that's just kind of gives you an idea of what it would look like. I also designed one that used the Tilda chambray for the background. So this one is kind of an idea of maybe using Dove White, the Tilda Dove White, and some linen. So that's what I'm going to do for my background. I'm also going to mix my Liberty with my Tilda in this because I think they go really well together. So I'm going to mix them together. So it's not just going to be Tilda, but it's going to be Liberty and Tilda together. So I think that'll be super fun. So for the first block, these are the cutting directions. And I will be doing a written pattern for those of you in the club. You'll get it as a digital pattern in your email. But it might take me, I'm right in the middle of box stuffing and getting ready to send you guys these boxes next week. So it might take me a week or two. But I'm going to do a single page graphic heavy, so not a lot of writing sort of pattern for each of these. They're going to be very simple blocks. But yeah, so you'll have these written. And also, if you look in the description of the video on Facebook, there is a link to the stitchery pattern that I made for this as well. So this is the cutting directions. I'm holding them so that you guys can get a screenshot of that if you need to. We're going to do the oblong shaped Churndash, which is this first block here on the top and right here. And I fussy cut my little frocks out to put in the middle of mine. But I'm also going to make one with a stitch center. So this is going to be the stitching that goes in the center. It's a little flower. It's very simple. I'm just going to do a little embroidery and do this flower. And then in the middle of the flower, I can put a button. So it'll have the little petals around the outside of the button. And then the other way we can use the buttons, and I'll show you that after we get this finished, is we can put them in the corners where the half square triangles are. But we'll do that in a minute. And after we get our little block made, everybody knows how to make a churn dash, but that's okay because this is just for fun. And I think churn dashes are always fun anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark the back of the linen pieces for making the half square triangles. They're small enough that you could probably get by without marking them at all, but I'm going to mark mine. So I'm using one of these skinny friction pens, which I really like. Since it's not going to show on anything anyway, I don't have to worry about the markings coming back. And then we'll go and make these half square triangles real quick. So there's new buttons coming with Garden Life when it comes in May. You guys will get to see those on Monday when we put the pre-order up. And they're made with the chambray fabric, and those would be super fun for centers of flowers and things because they're not the multicolor ones, but I think the multicolor ones would be really fun for the centers of flowers and things as well. So I just marked a diagonal on those squares and put them right sides together. And I'm going to sew 1/4 inch down the side of each, or the side of the line on each side. And these are the 2-inch squares. You're looking at the cutting direction. Pretty obvious since they're the only squares there. Yes, I will, Shelley. And if you weren't here a little while ago, I also let you know that I'm going to send these out in your email too. So here's the cutting directions for you again. You can go ahead and take a screenshot. Let me know when you're ready. Did you get it? Okay, well, I'll put it up later again too if you need. So here's our half square triangles. I'm going to go ahead and press them. I'm going to press toward the print because the linen is thicker than the print and it's harder to turn them the other direction. Sorry for my dogs. Too much barky, Polly. Okay, so there's all of our little half square triangles done. Should square them up. They are, nope, let me find the right corner here. Nope. Okay, doesn't work with this one. I got to get my square out. That one doesn't have a 45-degree angle on it. Wish I had my little, I don't know where my block lock is right now for some reason. So these need to square up to 1.5. So if you guys have never squared, I know if you've been doing quilts for a long time, you know this, but if you've never squared up a square before, you put your diagonal line along the diagonal in the center, get a nice square on one side. And these need to be 1.5 when they're finished, or unfinished, I guess, but 1.5 total before we sew them together. So then you put your diagonal on and the square is too big. Makes it really hard. And then you put your 1.5 inch line here on the diagonal. And you have nice, perfect 1.5 inch pieces. So I always make mine big. So if you guys don't like to have waists, then you can do yours the way you like to do them, but that's the way I like to do mine. I like to have them perfect. So this little churn dash is 4.5 by 5.5 unfinished, which I think is a really cute size. And my both of my rotary cutters have flat spots in them. So I took my good ones down to the shop. And all of my extra blades, of course. That's the one problem with having the shop outside the house now. All of my good stuff's there. And they're working on the street in front of my shop, so I either have to go super early in the morning or super late at night. And if I'm there during the day, I have to stay all day because they start at 7:30 and they don't get done until 4:30. And where my shop is on a little spur, and the only way to get there, there's only one road. You can go out either direction, but you can only go in one direction. So when they're working, you can't get in at all. Luckily, it looks like they're going to be done by the end of the week. So next week, things will be back to normal. Okay, there's all the pieces cut. So now we're going to put these strip pieces together. Maybe I'll just go ahead and take all of these over at once. So I'm going to go ahead and put this fussy cut piece in. But I'm also going to make one with the stitching in the center. I'm just not doing that right now. So I'm going to put this one in because I haven't stitched this up yet because I just designed this today. So. Oh, sorry, you guys. Let me look and see what you guys are saying. Oh, that's a great idea, Steph. Snowball the centers after it's done. That's a really good idea. My rotary cutter, the big one? The big one is an Olfa. The white one, which isn't out, so you must be talking about the big one. It's a big one, but it's a 60 millimeter ergonomic. Yeah, I like it. I know, it's so big for this little tiny block. I love the ergonomic ones. They are awesome. They're so much easier on my wrist. Okay, let me switch back over to the other camera. It's funny stuff, you know, talking about how Lori did the squares. It's funny how, you know, those of us who've been quilting forever, we just don't think of those things, you know, it's just like, oh, this is the way I've always done it. This is the way I always do it. But it's kind of really smart to do that. I do try to think of new ways to do things when the old way seems kind of crazy, but I don't know. Half square triangles always work for me. I just do them that way. So I'm just sewing all of these strips together. I'm not even pinning them, which is not like me. I'll be sorry. I'll get to the end and I'll be like, see, that's what happens when you don't pin, Julie. Okay, I just need to go press these. I'm sewing like you now. You're funny, Sally. Oh my goodness. Tripping over all of my cords. Well, I'm sure like somebody had to think outside the box when it came to rotary cutters and all of those things, you know. Well, I've always used a template and, you know, cardboard and scissors to cut my quilt blocks. I think this is going to be so cute and I'm kind of excited about it. I hope you guys like it. I've been wanting to do some kind of little sampler type quilt for the longest time. Oh, thank you, Karen. Don't need to be envious though. I used to be a manicurist a million years ago. So that's why I still have fingernails. I just never could stop doing it. I like the fact that they don't hurt all the time. I don't run them into things and break them and stuff. So my hands were always hurting before I had nails. So. Okay, I'm going to start pinning now because that's just who I am. So you ladies who are in the Liberty box, who have the Liberty box, got really neat a few months ago. These pins that I just love, the Little House, the pink, tiny pink applique pins. They are so neat, and I'm hoarding them. It's the silliest thing because they're pins and you can reuse them, right? But for some reason, I don't want to use them because I'm afraid I'll lose them or something, and they're too cute. It's so silly, isn't it? Because this would be the perfect thing to use those on because it's small. And I'm using this big, huge, long 2.5-inch pin instead. So I'm just sewing all these little pieces together in rows. Those little pink glass pins are so cute. This is going to be really cute, if I do say so myself. I know it's just a Churndash, but I mean, what could be cuter? A little tiny Churndash. I think that any sampler is not complete unless it has at least one Churndash in it. Is that conditioning for you or what? Okay. Liberty stash drawer. I think I need one of those. Okay, so I'm just gonna press these real quick. I have a Liberty stash Rubbermaid container. Oh my goodness. So Thursday is our chat this week, ladies. So I hope you guys will come and bring all the things that you're working on so I can see. Okay, so we're almost done. Here's our cute little Churndash, so cute. Oh, sweet. I love teacup pin cushions. I need to make a couple more of those myself. So I'm pinning at the end. ones like I always do. And in this case, because we're matching up some seams, I'm going to put some pins at the seams as well. And yep, I sewed over my pins. Sometimes I do that. Those are done. I'm going to do the other side. That's why I have bent pins. And I flipped these seams, so I'm going to have to press them the other direction. All done. Hi, Lisa. This is not going to want to lay flat. Here's our little cutie. I love the fox. He's so cute. Anyway, once that's done that way, I have a paper rotary cutter here. I'm going to cut this down so it is the size of the center so you can see. And when I do my next block, I'll do it like this. The little flower will go in the middle. And our little button can go on there. And if you're going to just piece it by machine, you have your Churndash and you can put your buttons here in the corners. And they'd be really cute. Or if you have your little stitched piece, you can also have them in the corners and have your little button on the stitched piece too. But on this, on our quilt, you see I'm making some little squares, and these can go, you know, those little vintage stamp buttons. The square ones can go in these little squares. And we can use buttons on all the flowers. And I'm going to do some little stitchery things for here And we can also piece these together, maybe make little squares there. But I haven't decided, you know, this is just a representation. These blocks may change. The flowers might not be there. It might be completely different once I'm done, but we're going to have some EPP. We're going to have some regular paper piecing. We're going to have some regular piecing. We're going to have some embroidery, all kinds of stuff. So that's what we're going to do for the next few weeks. And I'm kind of excited because each week I get to design a little block for this, and it'll be super fun. I'm going to put it on top, Steph, because look, actually, I probably wouldn't use these buttons. These just happen to be the ones that were on my table. But I like how the petals show around the outside of the circle of the button. So I'm probably gonna use one of the tilde smaller buttons in the center, but have the still stitch the petals because I like the way the petals look around the outside of it. Well, this sheet of blocks, or do you mean so what I'm gonna do is each week I'm gonna do a single sheet pattern. So it'll just be a really simple, I mean, most of the blocks are really simple blocks to put together, right? So it'll just be a simple single sheet graphic pattern with, you know, just the sizes of the pieces that you need basically on it. And then just a graphic way of putting the blocks together. I mean, everybody knows how to put a 9-patch together, right? Everybody knows how to put a Churndash together. So it'll just be real simple instructions. And each of the stitcheries, I will have a PDF for the stitcheries. The one for this one is there in the description of the video right now. And then at the end, and I'll send them out to you guys in the club. And then at the end, I'll put them all together into one PDF, and then it'll be a one pattern. I might even put it together and sell it or something if I decide I like it at the end. But so yeah. So yes, there will be a graphic representation. That's the question. Okay. Yay. Glad I could answer your question, Anne. Okay, ladies. Well, this was super fun. Big thanks to Sally for being the inspiration for this project. Because when we were talking this morning, she said, I need something to do with those buttons. And I was like, that's what everybody's been saying lately. Let's figure something out. So yeah, so anyway, I just thought this would be super fun. And I've seen some really cute little, like, people are like stitching little squares and putting things in little squares each day or whatever. I don't want to do this as a daily project. I've already got one of those going, but once a week, I figure we can make a little block or do some stitching and it'll be super fun. Thanks, Edith. Okay, ladies, it's so good to see you. I will see you on Thursday because I can't wait to see your faces. And I hope you guys will bring some things to show and tell. And this is just our regular meeting. And then, yeah. So I will see you on Thursday. See you soon. You're welcome. Bye-bye, ladies.